is my papa, Corporal Murray Williams. He's here to talk today about his service in the Marines in Vietnam. Give a hand to my papa.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so back in the early 60s, I graduated from high school, 1962. During that time, the Vietnam War was already going on. So officially, I think it ran from like 1954 to 1975, officially. But after I graduated from high school, I didn't go right into the service. I worked a few jobs, then I moved to California where my sister was living. During that time, in the 60s, they no longer do it today, but when a young man turned 18, he had to go and register with the Selective Service Board and have his name put into the system. So whenever they needed military personnel, they would draft from that pool of people. So that's what I did when I turned 18. I registered at the Selective Service Board and moved to California. And during that time while I was in California, they sent me a notice to come and take a pre-induction physical. Before you go in the service, you have to take a physical to see if you're fit to be in the service. So I passed my physical, and during that time, the Vietnam War was so hot that they were drafting people. They were drafting people, put them in the Marine Corps, put them in the Army, and people that had already served their time that had gotten out, that had critical jobs, they were calling them back into the service. So anyway, I passed my physical, and I knew I was going into the service, so I just went in and enlisted in the Marines and did my basic training in San Diego, California at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot there. And during that time in the Marines, the boot camp was 3 months long, and the infantry training was like 3 weeks long. Excuse me. So because of the war was so intense, they cut out boot camp training down to 2 months, and the infantry training down to like 8 days, so they could ship you right out. So after I did my training, I was put in an artillery unit. In Marine Corps, everyone is basically a ground soldier. That means a ground pounder. You hit the jungle, hit the beaches, hit the water. You don't. But I was in an artillery unit. So we trained a little while over here. Then we caught a ship. We went overseas to Japan, Okinawa, Japan. We trained there for a couple of months. Then we caught another ship and finally went to Vietnam. So we took all our guns and stuff with us. So we were riding in Vietnam. We just went out to this big old area where nothing but jungle, just trees and rice paddies. That's what they're known for, famous in Vietnam, rice paddies, the heat and mosquitoes and stuff like that. So our guns, I got some pictures I'll show you of what the gun looked like. There was 105 howitzers, and they could shoot a real long ways, like 7 or 8 miles. So I'll show them to you later. So while I was in that unit, one night the Viet Cong attacked our unit on the east side, and I was like on the north side. So they came in and killed a few people. And what we had was outposts all the way around our unit. But so they would come between the outposts because the outposts were so far apart. So after that, they started sending out what they call a listening post out past the outpost. And what they were supposed to do was listen for the enemy trying to come in, and if they heard anything, they were supposed to pull back into our unit. So that's what happened one night I was out there on the listening post. And every battalion, every unit in that battery had to serve on that listening post. But they had several, but they had one major one. And so I was on the major one that night. So we was out that night, and so we got a little firefight. It was but I didn't, but some other people did. And anyway, that night I ended up getting wounded. And they took me back to the battalion area and put me on a helicopter and sent me back to the hospital area. So after that, I stayed in the hospital. When I woke up, I was in a body cast because I had got shot in the leg. So they had to put the cast in the femur. It blew out part of the left femur. So they had to put the body cast all the way up. So I stayed in that for a few days, and then I was in South Vietnam in July, so they sent me to North Vietnam to catch a plane. And caught the plane. They took me to the Philippine Isles to the Clark Air Force Base. So I had to stay there for about a week and catch a flight back to the States because I couldn't no longer serve and do my job. Those were the wounds. So they sent me back to the States, and I stayed in hospital a real long time for like 16 months before I healed up. So I stayed the first 5 months. I was in traction. That was when my leg up bent, and they had a pin through my shin bone and a weight hanging on it. So they tried to let it heal, but it wouldn't heal on its own. So I stayed like that for 5 months, and after 5 months, they decided they would do a bone graft on the legs. So what they did was they would take some of my pelvic bone, they would cut some of it out and grafted it in there, and they put me in another body cast. And I stayed in that body cast for a whole year. And after that, I got this job. To California, to Los Angeles. I said, "Hey, my body cast on this in an ambulance for me and discharged me after about 200 some days at Camp Pendleton." So I went to Santa Monica VA Hospital, stayed there till I healed up. And that was in '67. So that's about the story. Soon then they discharged, they put me on temporary retirement for 5 years. They didn't discharge it completely from the service. I still had my ID card, and I could go to the military base and buy groceries and stuff like that, fly on military flights. So they did that for 5 years. But during that 5 years, I had to go to San Antonio every 18 months and be reevaluated. So after the 5 years was up, they decided I couldn't go back into service and finish the rest of my tour. So they discharged me. Well, that was around 1972 when I finally got my discharge papers. So after that, they told me they would pay me compensation every month. I could receive from the military, or I could switch to the VA, whichever one was better. So I ended up switching to the VA because they had a higher percentage that they were paying than the military. So after that, that's what I did, and that's about it. All right, thank you.
Dear Mr. Williams, thank you for protecting us during the Vietnam War. Thank you for protecting us on the ground. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for giving your life for us on the battlefield. I know it was not easy to win that war. Mr. Williams, you're a real man who have a lot of guts to do what you did. I thank you for doing all you have done for our United States. God bless you on your journey.
Thank you.
Dear Mr. Williams, thank you for protecting the United States on the ground.
Thank you.
Dear Mr. in the Marines. You are a strong and brave young man, and I thank you for defending and protecting the United States on the ground. I love you for all the things you did in the Marines. You fought for America, and you should be proud and happy for fighting and doing everything for your country. Thank you again for doing everything you did in the Marines. From Daria Pittman.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams, thank you for serving and fighting in the war for us and keeping our country safe. So we serve you with this special lunch. Good luck to you. From Gabrielle.
Very good.
Dear Mr. Williams, thank you for your service in Vietnam. Thank you for defending us and protecting the United States on the ground and the Marines. You are brave and you keep our country safe. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Dear Mr. Williams, thank you for your service in the Marines. I wish I was you. Thank you, Mr. Williams, from you.
Thank you.
Dear Papa, thank you for protecting our country and keeping people safe when danger was around them. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for your service in Vietnam. Thank you for defending and protecting the United States of America and for saving thousands of lives. I love you, Tom Scott. American soldier,
American soldier,
you are brave.
you are brave.
You keep our country safe.
You keep our country safe.
We thank you.
We thank you.
Go ahead and take a picture.